Hebrews 11, the faith chapter. I want to read you about Abraham. Did I say Hebrews? Yes. Did I say Abraham? Old Testament man? Yes. But in the book of Hebrews, faith people are mentioned. Several people of faith. And Abraham, of course, is one of them. By faith, forsaking all, I take him. That's how I learned faith. Forsaking all, I take him. By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out, not knowing whither he went. By faith, he sojourned in a land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he looked for a city which hath foundations, whose builder and maker is God. Through faith also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed, and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. Therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead. Abraham was 100, Sarah was around 90. So many as the stars of the sky in multitude. Now, this was written early in the New Testament, and the Jews had multiplied a lot. Now we're 2,000 past that. Can you imagine how many Jews? As many as the sand which is by the seashore, innumerable. These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. For they that had such things declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned. But now they desire a better country, that is, an heavenly. Wherefore God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he hath prepared for them a city. By faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and he that received the promise offered up his only begotten son, said, by faith, by forsaking all, I take him. Abraham made the choice to do what God asked him to do, and he was willing to offer up Isaac. And he that received the promise, God Almighty, offered up his only begotten son, Jesus, of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called, accounting that God was able to raise him up even from the dead, from whence also he received him in a figure. Abraham believed that if he were required to slay Isaac, God was able to raise him up. He believed the promise that was made to him all the way back here. He believed the promise that was afar off. He believed that his descendants would come through Isaac. And he believed that if the Lord required him to slay him, he would raise him back up so that he could have seed through Isaac, because, and only because, God Almighty had said it. If God said it, that settles it.